boys, ASMR world. Long time no see. It's been ages since I did a face video. And I get it mostly thinking, get back to just writing on the paper. I wish I could. It was requested, kinda. Somebody said the other day, I missed the, when, I could see your face on a video. I was like, oh, nobody wants to see this ugly mug on an ASMR video. And my hay fever's terrible, which makes my eye play up. Let me get sorted with it. Back again, guys. So apologies, my eye is really sore today. But yeah, I thought we'd do this video face to face. I don't know why I feel so awkward doing this. I mean, I must have done a couple hundred videos face to face on camera. Anyways, let's get on with it. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the opening weekend of the Premier League. I have to be honest, I haven't been this excited for a season in so long. Could I tell you why I'm so excited? No, I can't tell you why. I just feel like this is going to be a really good season for not just for my club, but for a lot of clubs. Let me move this back a little bit. Yeah, I really do think that this season is going to be, there's going to be a lot of good games. Chelsea finally have the striker they need. They've got Romelu Lukaku. Look at their team last season. They won the Champions League with a striker in Timo Werner, who was offside more than he was onside when he scored a goal. Add Lukaku to that team and they're a different animal altogether. Man United have not had a decent right-sided attacker in about, I'd go back as far as Antonio Valencia, and eventually switched to right back anyway. But since Valencia left, we've tried Lingard there, we've tried, sorry guys, it's on the telly, we've tried Lingard, we've tried Dan James, Mason Greenwood, we've tried so many players, and none of them are of the level of a Jadon Sancho. At the back, we have hopefully cleared up the issue with Victor Lindelof and the fact that he can be a little bit lapsy-daisy at times. We've brought in Rafael Varane, who just looks like a class act. Just look at him on the pitch before the Leeds game. He looks like a classy guy. At Liverpool, they brought in Canate, which if they'd had him last season, they probably wouldn't have signed Ben Davies from Preston for $2 million and then not give him a game. We have Man City, who fought, and a lot of their fans probably thought, yes, we're getting the best English player in England, or one of them. We're getting Jack Grealish, all our issues will be solved. I don't know how many of you thought he was like, he scored all the goals last season, or the last couple of seasons. He hasn't. Your team already scored a fair few, but you need a striker. Pep, in his idea that all you need is attacking midfielders, was crazy. I'm sorry, but he got what he deserved over the weekend. Let me have a drink of water, guys. Apologies, a bit loud. Who else is in the title run? Well, Spurs ain't, are they? But they losing, potentially losing Harry Kane. Lost Toby Alderweireld. They brought in Romero. They brought in Brian Gill, who didn't get on the pitch yesterday. The idea that Son is now their main man up front, I think he's going to thrive on that. He has played up front before for Tottenham when Kane has been injured. But yeah, let's get into it, guys. Let's get to the results and we'll talk about it as we go along. If you haven't already joined my fantasy football league, it's free to join. Lacazette. They were missing Aubameyang. You know, the two main goal threats were out of the team. I get that. Granit Xhaka was back in there. The Emile Smith Rowe played. Saka was on the pitch. The new lad, Ben White, 50 million quid on Ben White. I don't get the decision to do that. So, this is my opinion on Arsenal, okay? Their defence has been lacking for a couple of years now. A leader. So, David Luiz is a bit of a leader, but a clumsy one, and he's left now, okay? Other than David Luiz, you were then looking at Kolasinac, he's out the door. Who was the other ones? They had a few, didn't they? Older defenders, and they've also left round at the same time. Bugger. The German lad. I forget his name now. And then there's the Greek one, Socrates. So they had like 3 or 4 senior defenders all gone at the same time. They're left with Rob Holding, Ben White now, Gabriel, who's the other lad, the other English lad, Rob Holding, flipping heck. My mind is not what it should be today. English centre back. I can see him in my mind, I can picture him, but I cannot remember his name. Let's have a look. You know who I'm on about anyways. Let's have a look. You know who I'm on about. So, when they needed before I even ended up checking, I remembered his name, Callum Chambers. So when they needed experience, they went to Brighton and they went and signed Ben White. I don't get it. In all, I really don't. They could have got his teammate, Lewis Dunk, for cheaper, who would have stepped straight to the Arsenal team and had a leadership mentality, like leadership qualities about him. Saying, look, Gabriel, step here, step there, Rob Holding, do this, do that. Get his head on the end of the ball. Instead, they spent 50 million quid on Ben White and didn't have the experience that they needed at the back. I don't get that. So, the game, anyway, ended 2-0 to Brentford. Their first game ever in the Premier League. I was in the pub watching the second half, and they won 2-0. You had the second goal was scored by Norsgaard, and the first one was a great goal. I was just going out the door to the pub when Sergi Canos scored the first goal in Brentford's history and the first goal of the season in the Premier League for any team. So I really like Brentford. I hope they do well this season. Thomas Frank seems like a decent manager, and I'm tipping Brentford to stay up this season and have a rather good performance throughout. Arsenal, same old tosh, and I feel sorry for their fans, honestly I do, because they haven't done the deals they need to do. They brought in Tavares, the left back, they've brought in Ben White and Lukaku, I think it is in midfield. They need to sort themselves out, in all honesty. Next, we had Man United Leeds. This was the second game in terms of orders of games. This was at like 12:30 on Saturday. Man United against Leeds United at Old Trafford. What a game to kick off the season. What a match. Sorry guys, just moving you a little bit off everyone. Yeah, what a game for the first game of the season. United didn't start Varane or Sancho. Sancho was on the bench. Varane was unveiled before the game as a United player. We had a really odd looking front three. I didn't expect us to do a great deal in this game. Our front three was Pogba on the left, Dan James on the right, Mason Greenwood down the middle. Now I thought he might go, because obviously Cavani was out, Rashford's out injured. I thought he might go with maybe Dan James on the right Greenwood down the middle and Martial on the left. Or something to that effect. But he put Pogba on the left, James on the right, and Greenwood down the middle. And we got the opening goal in the first half through Bruno Fernandes. And at the time I thought, okay, that's 1-0. We could have done with a second before half time, I thought, because Leeds are a dangerous team. Patrick Bamford, Luke Ayling, Phillips was on the bench. Rafinha was on the pitch, Rodrigo was on the pitch. So yeah, I wasn't too confident. Like at half time, come out the second half, Luke Ayling scores potentially a contender for goal of the season, for definitely goal of the month, brilliant equaliser. That was within a couple of minutes. Here's what happened. I didn't pause it. He was on half time, just doing the talking bit between the the panellists. I popped to the toilet. I come down, and it was like 8 minutes into the second half, and there'd been 3 goals scored. It was 3-1 to United. Just as I walked through the door, they scored their third goals. What the hell's happened here? So I wound it back and watched each of the 3 goals. I was like, yes. And United went on to win 5-1 in the end. A hat-trick for Bruno Fernandes. Now, he's not in my fantasy football team for one reason. Last season his form went right off the boil for quite a while. And I thought, it might take a bit of time to find it again. He took less than 90 minutes. Got himself a hat-trick. We also had a goal from Mason Greenwood and Fred, of all people, Fred. Yeah, Leeds' goal was from Luke Ayling, as I said, and afterwards there was some strange phone calls on the radio suggesting that Bielsa should be sacked. I'm like, are you having a giraffe? You lost last season 6-2 at Old Trafford, so if you lose 5-1, okay, it's still a 4-goal deficit, but at least you've conceded 1 goal less. Next game, all these start at 3 o'clock, so we'll go through them in no particular order. We had Chelsea Crystal Palace. It finished Chelsea 3-0 against Crystal Palace. They had no Lukaku. I don't think Thiago Silva played. Ziyech's got a dislocated shoulder. Ben Chilwell, who is in my fantasy football team, is my captain, and he wasn't even picked. With goals for Marcus Alonso, a great free kick. That was a really good goal. We had a goal for Christian Pulisic, and the young lad on his Premier League debut. I'm not a Chelsea fan, but I love to see young players, especially young English players, doing well. Now this lad was given his debut in the Super Cup final. Trevor Chalobah, his brother, is it Nathaniel Chalobah? I think so. Plays for, is he at Watford still? It was, let me have a little look. He was at Watford the last time I heard. Let me have a little look, looky. Chalobah. Here we go. Yeah, Nathaniel Chalobah is at he's at Watford, so maybe we see the 2 Chalobahs again on the same pitch against each other later on in the season. But Trevor Chalobah's given his chance against Villarreal in the Super Cup final. Didn't let Chelsea down. He's given his Premier League debut at home to Palace and scored on his Premier League debut. So well done, Trevor Chalobah. Well done, mate. I know you're not watching, but congratulations. Chelsea won 3-0 at home against Palace. Nice clean sheet for Chelsea, a few goals. No Lukaku in the team. They've got all that to look forward to. And Chelsea, my tip to win the league this season, I've got to be honest. Next we have Brentford against, sorry, my bad, it's just the order I've wrote this down in. We've obviously already done Brentford and Man United. Now, next we have Everton Southampton. This was Rafa Benitez's first game. This was Southampton's first game with no Vestergaard or Danny Ings. This the first game of the season without them two players in there. I fear for Southampton. I don't know what the hell they've done to their manager by selling Vestergaard and Danny Ings. Yeah, I can only think that they're accepting relegation. But they brought in Adam Armstrong, and he scored on his debut for Southampton. He scored in the first half. A really good goal, actually. He took it brilliantly. Mistake by Michael Keane. Shea Adams got the ball from him, and Adam Armstrong did the rest. He smashed it in the back of the net. But that was just like a little tease for Southampton. Oh, you got a chance here, guys. Because second half, Everton came out and wiped the floor then. We had goals from Richarlison, Doucouré and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I'm not sure that was in that order, but I saw the goals. I just wrote down in no particular order. Now, what I did see and what they made a point of after the game was how many crosses. Now, I had a feeling they'd do this when they went and signed Townsend on a free, Damari Gray from Leverkusen for a couple of million. I had a feeling they were going to just cross the ball over and over again, and that's what happened. They made 17 crosses in the game. Everton did as a team. From Luke Digne to Richarlison, Townsend to Gray, 17 crosses, because Calvert-Lewin is great at hitting the ball and attacking the ball in general. And they got 3 goals. So, it worked for Everton. And it will be dangerous with all the crosses going into the box. 3-1. We had Burnley at home to Brighton. Now I backed Burnley to win this game, and they went 1-0 up through James Tarkowski. But that was just like a false dawn for poor Burnley fans, who conceded 2 goals in the second half from McAllister and Neil Maupay. Maupay got the first, and McAllister got a second. Both had come on off from the bench. And Brighton went 2-1. I don't think either of these teams are expecting to finish in the top 10, but it's always nice to get a win against teams who you think you'll be down the bottom with. So nice for Brighton to get an early win and 3 points on the board. Burnley will see that as 3 points dropped, considering they had the lead for so long, and we'll just have to see out the game. Let's get the scores for the other games. Wait there, guys, because I've not wrote down every match, unfortunately. Let me look. Come on, let me have a look. Oh yeah, Tammy Abraham has completed his medical with Roma as well. I forgot to mention that. Okay, so next we had Leicester beating Wolves. This is Wolves without a Nuno in charge. This is Wolves with Jimenez back in the team. This is Wolves with their new manager in charge, and Jose Sarr in goal for them after Patricio left. And let's be honest, it didn't go to plan for Wolves. Adama Traore had a great opportunity early in the first half and should have put Wolves 1 up. Unfortunately he didn't. He put his shot wide. Conor Cody had a late equaliser disallowed for offside, and the only goal of the game that counted was from Jamie Vardy. James Maddison did play, even though he's linked with a move. They brought on Vestergaard in the second half for the last 15-20 minutes, something like that. Pereira with the assist for Vardy. And Leicester win their opening game, and they'll be a threat this season to the top 4, I believe. Wolves need to get steady. They had the new lad Trincao up front on the right of a free, on the left of a free, I think it was, with Traore and Jimenez. What I did see from watching the highlights is Traore's been given like the role of being able to move more central, whereas under Nuno he's very much on the right. The other day I was watching him in the highlights on Match of the Day. He was down the middle a lot, which can only be a good thing if he can get his shooting boots on for the next game. We had Watford 3, Aston Villa 2. What the hell was that about? I backed Villa to win that game. But I think we found some potential fancy football stars in our Watford team. So when a new team comes up into the Premier League, I don't tend to pick their players for the fancy football. I did pick Ivan Toney at Brentford though. Watford battered Villa. Villa with a late penalty from Danny Ings made it 3-2. But the Watford team, they was all over Villa. I watched the Match of the Day highlights. They were brilliant, Watford were. We had goals from Dennis Bonaventure, Ismail Assar and Cucho Hernandez. Cucho, when Watford was in the Premier League a couple of years ago, there was a lot of talk about this lad Cucho Hernandez, and he was on loan a lot, and there's like bring him back, give him a chance. He finally got his chance this season in the Premier League. Came off the bench and scored a brilliant goal. Before that, the Dennis goal was very good. Sar's goal was very good. And they got they were 3-0 up, Watford was, before John McGinn got one back for Villa, and then a very late penalty for Danny Ings on the 97th minute made it 3-2. But Watford was always comfortable, to be fair. The evening kick-off on Saturday was Liverpool away at Norwich. Liverpool have played Norwich away. They always score a stack of goals, and this time they got themselves a 3. But that ain't too bad, is it? Oh, we're going to do 3 goals. Oh well, that ain't too bad. You get the clean sheet. Van Dijk was back in the team. Noah Robertson, he's out injured. Sorry guys, I got distracted by the TV there. Yeah, so you had Van Dijk back in the team. Joel Matip started. Simicast, who's now going to my fantasy football team, as well as a lot of other people's, because he's very cheap, and he's going to play week in, week out until Robertson's fit, so it makes sense. Jota started. I think Firmino may have been on the bench, I might be wrong, but in the end it was Jota, Salah and Firmino who got Liverpool's goals. It's 3-0, fairly easy. Norwich didn't seem to offer much up front from what I've seen, and Norwich start their season with a loss. Yesterday, Sunday's games, we had Newcastle home to West Ham, and I backed Newcastle for a win or a draw on my betting slip. It's going well. Newcastle went 1-0 up through Callum Wilson within 5 minutes. Then it was 1-1. Aaron Cresswell with I think it's more of a cross. It just sort of missed everyone and went in the back of the net. Jacob Murphy made it 2-1 to Newcastle just before half time. I thought, yes, we're back on here. This bet is going to go our way. Second half, Ben Rama with a very good equaliser for West Ham. Then Thomas Suchek made it 3-2 to West Ham. And within 3 minutes, Mikel Antonio wrapped up the game with a great goal. He showed great pace to get through on goal. Had a 1-2 with, I don't know who's with now, Ben Rama maybe, and made it 4-2. That's how it ended. Newcastle fans, I think, would be glad to have scored 2 goals. Even if they did, then concede 4 goals. And the last game of the weekend was Tottenham at home to Man City. You couldn't have scripted it any better, could you? You couldn't have made it up any better. Tottenham, whose star striker is wanted by Man City. Tottenham, who are desperate to not help out Man City with another player. They did it with Kyle Walker. Now they can see Harry Kane go. Tottenham's star striker basically said, I'm not going to play for you anymore, give or take. without actually saying it. And they got the win over Man City, 1-0. Son. So I looked at this Tottenham team before the game. I was like, how the hell's this team going to win? They had Tanganga at right back, Sanchez and Dyer at centre back, Reguilon left back. Okay, Reguilon, yeah, but the other three, no for me. You had Hoyvier and Oliver Skip in midfield. Skip, who was on loan at Norwich last season, did very well. He's been given a chance by Nuno at Tottenham. I thought Doherty might have been in at right back, considering he's a former Nuno player at Wolves. He had Son up front, Bergwijn on the left. On the right, he went with Lucas Moura. That's 4, 6, 9. Who's the 10th player? Dele Alli. Yeah, Dele Alli started. Man City went with, off the top of my head, Jack Grealish, Sterling, Mahrez. There's no Foden, he's injured, isn't he? De Bruyne was on the bench. Gundogan, Fernandinho. I mean, already they're top heavy with midfielders. There's not one striker in that lineup that I've just mentioned. It was Benjamin Mendy at left back, Nathan Ake, Ruben Diaz, and right back was Cancelo. So Walker was on the bench. John Stones wasn't in the team. Maybe he's just been rested after his Euros exploits. Laporte was on the bench. I don't get that. You got Laporte and you got Diaz, and you don't play them together. Maybe he doesn't think they complement each other. I'm not sure. But the only goal of the game came from Son. City dominated the first half, and then just didn't do anything at all in the second half, even with De Bruyne on the pitch. Second half, and Tottenham just took over. It was a great performance. Tanganga, immense at right back. Son, brilliant up front. Moura looked fantastic on his better games for Spurs. Bergwijn should have made it 2-0. Missed it. He's lucky it didn't cost us, in all honesty. Skip looked good on his Premier League. It was his debut, but like his first game of the season for Tottenham, where maybe he feels like he's going to be a regular. Dele Alli looked pretty useful. Hoyvier, yeah. Sanchez. Now, I am one of Davinson Sanchez's biggest critics. Like, he does my head in. Gets his two, he's so distracted. He was immense yesterday. He was fantastic. And Tottenham win 1-0. And Man City's season is they're already chasing Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea. They're in the same boat as bloody Arsenal. So, and they're chasing Leicester and Tottenham now. So it was great to see. Hell, Man City are chasing Brentford. Obviously, Man City will turn it around and probably go and win the league quite easily, but to see them lose their first game was nice and sweet as a Tottenham fan. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to do these every Monday, as long as I can do. Then that is the plan. So, take it easy. I'll see you again very soon.